Hello, everyone. Welcome to Happy Hour. And I am Courtney, and I am passionate about helping others discover their happy and make it a daily habit by putting yourself first, learning to love yourself, and caring for yourself, being your own self-care expert. I am extremely passionate about that. And today we're going to talk about sharing your story. Do you have a story that you keep locked inside that is hindering you from moving forward and maybe making you play a victim, holding you back from everything, all your hopes, your dreams, your desire? Do you have heaviness inside of you that you just are afraid to let out? That's what we're going to talk about today. Because, guys, it is our story that is not told that gets in the way of us feeling good, being happy, and taking care of ourselves. We hold on to this story. It is this heaviness we hold in our heart, and it's almost like the secret we don't want anyone to know. And it doesn't serve us, and it hurts, and it feels heavy, and it creates other health problems. So the more that we can visit and express and share with others, the more we grow, but also the more that others hear our story grows. I think we forget that part, that when we share what's going on with us, with other people, they grow too, right? Because we're all the same in many ways, and we work better together. So by sharing your story, there's someone out there that hears it and says, oh my gosh, she gets me. She hears me. And you help them feel brave, and so they can stand up for themselves and share their story. So let's start this sweet happy hour like we do all happy hours with grounding ourselves, taking a couple deep breaths and getting ourselves in our body so we're ready and willing to learn something new. Close your eyes and take 3 deep belly breaths. So I want you to breathe in through your nose. And when you breathe in, expand your belly, expand your chest, expand your throat when you're breathing in. Just let everything get big and lots of space. And then exhale and let everything go. A forceful exhale, let going of all that you don't need, that is not serving you, that is getting in your way. Breathe in again and bring life into your body, and exhale and get everything out that you don't need. With our breath and taking many breaks throughout the day, just to breathe is a beautiful way to care for your body, is a beautiful way to check into yourself and ask your body what it needs. And all you need to do is breathe and be aware. And when you're ready, open your eyes. So today, usually after a grounding exercise, I will focus on something I'm grateful for because it brings me into my heart. But today I really want you to feel the heaviness in your body as I go through talking about sharing your story, because those are all signals of where to go and what needs to be released. So anytime you go out throughout your day and you feel a sudden heaviness, or someone says something and it affects you negatively, it's something inside you that is playing out an old scenario. It's an old story that needs to be let go. And that is a beautiful way to say, hey, let's get rid of this and let's bring in something new. We are shown so many signs throughout the day So many things to pay attention to, but we're so stuck in our body and thinking about what doesn't work that we don't see all these beautiful opportunities in front of us. So this is sharing your story. Some people think of it as we all have one story, but we don't. We have several stories. And I truly believe anytime something ends, something else begins. And when that happens and you find yourself transitioning and making changes, that is the time to share your story and let go of your old one so you can create a new one. It's like someone writing a biography, right? They're sharing their story. They're being vulnerable with the world because through writing that story, each word they type, each chapter they express, they are growing and getting to know themselves. That's what a story is. And it constantly changes, and there's more and more stories to tell. And when we tell our story and we meet someone new, they met us today. We're a completely different person today than we were yesterday or a week ago or 3 years ago. So we can meet them there and create a new story. I am experiencing this right now because I am going through a transition where my life is changing and I'm not sure what's happening or where it's going. But through this process, I'm meeting new people and I'm creating new stories. And when we hold on to our past stories, we bring those with us. That's the drama and the heaviness and the things that get in our way, and how our partner says something and we get triggered, but it has nothing to do with them. That's all the stuff that we're holding on our back and taking along with us down our journey. So when we share our story, we can start our new one without that backpack. Because guess what? We're going to create more stuff to put into it. It's like spring cleaning. You clean out your house, clean out your drawers, clean out your fridge, get everything clear of the stuff that's not serving you and no longer bringing you joy so you can bring more in. And I promise you, come next spring, you'll have more to get rid of. We're meant to grow and shed, grow and shed. That's the process of life. And sometimes it can be harder than others. But I promise you, if you hold on to your story and don't share it, that is going to be the hardest thing you'll ever do. Because you'll feel stuck and you'll feel very sad. And you just won't feel like yourself, like you've lost yourself. And that's why I'm here. I want to hear your story. So let's dive in. Why do we share our story? We share our story to heal from our past. We share our story to find forgiveness for ourselves and others. And we share our story to get to know who we are and what we want, because that's constantly changing. When we share our story, you discover that you are a hero. You made it through your story. You've made it so far that you are ready to share it with others. So you look at it as a blessing. You look at it with gratitude because it's created who you are today. Your mess, what you're sitting in, what you've been through is your message. There's so many lessons when you share your stories for yourself and others. Through your story, when shared, you heal. You identify beliefs that are holding you back. Things you do every day that you don't like doing, but you've just done them because you've always done them that way, right? When we change things, little things, try things new way, we discover that that's no longer working for us. That's just an old story. So we let it go and we make a new one. Where do I start? First off, you gotta speak it. You gotta get it out. There's so many ways to do it, but honestly, the best way to share your story is with another. Because you get that interaction. You get the compassion. You get the validation that I hear you. This sounds hard. I see why it feels heavy. I see why you're hurting. We need that compassion when we are pulling up stuff that we've been holding on to and we're so fearful to let go of. We all have our stories, you guys. Everyone does, and everyone is so unique. So please know, when you start to go through the process of wanting to share your story, you're going to feel a lot of resistance. You're going to feel a lot of fear. And that is stopping you from moving forward. We think of it as negative, but when something comes up that resists or you feel fearful of, that means there's a lesson there. And what if we just tried it? What if we just put one toe in the water and tried it out a little bit? We may surprise ourselves. And on the other side is freedom. On the other side of any fearful moment that comes in your life and you do it, you push through that fear, you feel free. Think of any time in your life when you were scared to death to do something and you did it anyway, and the positive outcome it brought. So really check in with yourself and challenge your fear, challenge your resistance, and ask yourself, what is it telling me? When you're telling your story, it is the best place to start is to go back and think about, when was the last time I felt like myself? When was the last time I enjoyed my life and I felt happy? I felt light and happy. Sometimes a moment will come in your mind, and maybe an age when you were a child, or a specific picture or act that you were doing, or even a smell can come up. So that's why I go into, what does your story sound like? What does it smell like? What does it feel like? What does it sound like? All those things are so important because we have so many senses, and all of them bring a memory. So if we can really get in our body and say, when was the last time I felt good and happy? You will get something from there, and that's where you start. What happened after that? What have I been doing with my life since then? And you just go one step at a time, and the words just roll and you tell your story. So I want to go back to talking your story. So we had talked about the best way, in my opinion, is to share it with a person. If you're not ready for that, journaling is amazing. Sit with a journal. First off, buy a journal you love, that speaks to you, that just makes you feel good. Maybe it has a quote on the front or has your favorite color. Grab the journal, take some time for yourself, set a timer, sit down, look at the page, and just write. And I can promise you, if you close your eyes and take some deep breaths, stuff will just start coming through. And you can just start writing things out and go back to that place where you felt good and you felt happy, and start there. And what happened? What was the next step? And what was the next step? And before you know it, you're playing out your whole life. And for some of us, our whole life in front of us. And we're like, oh my gosh, I am a hero. Look at all I've been through. Look how strong I've been. Look at each step I've healed. I've got up and kept going forward. That's so important, you guys. Those little celebrations that we forget, all we think about is how bad we hurt and the things that have went wrong. But you are here today, and you're here today because you made some choices to move forward and to heal and to let things go. So through that story, it's so magical. So if you're not ready to speak it out loud, tell your journal. How do I share my story? So you want to be super brave? Go online. Tell it to the world. That's going big, right? No expectations on that. It is scary. I just did it. And I've done it twice because my story keeps changing. Get your voice recorder out on your phone. Speak to it like you were speaking to a friend. Change your story. So once you speak it, now it's time to start changing it. Because our past story is not working for us, because we wouldn't be here today. You wouldn't be watching this live. You wouldn't be trying to figure out, what makes me happy? How can I put myself first? I don't even know how to love myself. So you've gotten lost somewhere in that story. So it's time to change it. Change little things, even if it's just one small thing a day, and start doing things differently. What thoughts or beliefs are you holding back? So when you start telling your story, does something come up for you and you just feel like a tightness in your chest where you don't want to go there? You start writing and you start getting emotional. Sometimes someone will say a word and it will just trigger and you'll be like, yes, that is how I feel. Those are so important to really ask questions on and journal more about. What are you afraid of? Like I said, when we're afraid of something and we keep saying no, no, and we justify it, we give all these reasons why we're not doing it, but it keeps coming up, that's because we need to go through it. We need to feel that fear to grow. What are you resisting? Get curious with your resistance. Anytime you resist anything, ask the questions. Am I resisting this because it's going to bring me sadness, not make me feel good, put me in danger? Or am I resisting this because last time I did it, I got a bad outcome? Or someone told me I shouldn't be doing this? Ask yourself those questions. What are you doing that you don't want to do? We are doing so many things in our lives that we're not even enjoying doing. And every time before we do it, we're like, I don't want to be doing this. How is that getting us closer to our happy? Do something joyful. Replace all those habits that we're doing every day that are not serving us with happy ones. What scares you? This can be good and bad, but we're all scared of something else, right? Isn't that so cool? How one person is scared of one thing and another person is like, oh, that's a piece of cake. I got that, but I'm scared of this. Those things say so much about who you are. And usually you can go back to like, I'm scared of snakes. Why am I scared of snakes? When did this start? What happened to create me scared of snakes? Did I watch a movie? Did I step on a snake and get bit? I mean, we all have a story. So let's visit that and ask ourselves what's going on in that story. What choices are we making every day that are not serving us? It goes along with the same thing. Whether it's what we're doing, who we're spending time with, or what we're putting in our mouth, is it serving us? Is it getting us closer to where we want to be? Then after you change your story, meaning you go in and you go through all these questions and you ask yourself these questions and you start to find out who you are, now is that time you've told your story. You've found out in your story where you need to learn, what you need to visit, how you need to heal. Then you get to create your new story. It's like meeting someone new and starting a new relationship because you are. You're meeting the person you are today and you get to create whatever you want, right? How amazing is it that we can go to sleep as one person or thinking one way and wake up the next morning and have a completely different experience? Life is never boring, is it? So let's create a new story. Ask yourself questions like, what are you passionate about? What lights you up? What brings you joy? What are you feeling most fulfilled by right now? Like, what are you craving to do? What do you want to do more of? What would you die doing? This is a question, isn't it? We say that all the time. Oh my God, I love chocolate so much. I want it to be the last meal I eat. It's those things. There's so many messages in those. Plus, you get to know yourself. What is the title of your story? So when you share your story, it's great to title it, right? But when you create a new story, if we can put a word to it or a mantra to it or name the story, it means so much more, and it's something we can hold on to. We can write it down, use it as a screensaver, put it on our phone. If you were me, tattoo it on your body. A constant reminder of what you're creating. And then ask you those questions that we asked before. What does my new story taste like? What does it smell like? What does it feel like? What does it sound like? All those are so important so we can get crystal clear on what we want to attract and manifest. And then every single day, as you're creating the story, because it's not done overnight, you guys, it's every day you're going through your day and saying, this is working for me, this is not working for me. This is working for me. This is not working for me. You're just pulling the weeds all day long. And what happens when you pull weeds? You have beautiful soil for something to grow. That's a perfect analogy of sharing your story, pulling the weeds, right? Getting out the things that aren't working, and then creating a new story by making a new garden, planting new seeds, watering it. Life is all about ending and beginning stories. So let's not get caught up in our old ones. Let's create a new one. On the other side of your story is your happiness. What's holding you back from your happiness is the story that was not told. I am here for you. This is what I do. This is what I love to do. I am a safe place for you to share your story and fall, and together we will create your new story, one happy habit at a time. Love you all. I hope you found this so helpful. If you have any questions, reach out. I am here for you. And before I forget, I didn't show the card I pulled today, and it's absolutely perfect as always, right? Because the universe has our back. My life is an experience. I embrace the exploration. There it is, guys. Whoop, that's better. Your life, there we go. Your life is an experience. Bye-bye. Bye, Mom. Your life is an experience. So every day, experiment. Okay, we're going to start over here because I got distracted by my beautiful mother online. My life is an experiment, right? Experiment. It's not set in stone. Things change. I embrace the exploration. So every day, be the scientist of your life. I heard that and I absolutely love it. Experiment every day. What is working? What is not? Get rid of the old, bring in the new. That is all. Love you all.